those wondering what my partner is laughing at, I can't repeat it on air because they would just immediately...
No, we're not allowed to say that. Alright, we're off, both of our players.
They're on
Dad gonna
Flash
get
Red.
going with Flash, Square starting with Quick.
Yep, the same starting. But hey, shout out to Duckfist. He created this. Give him a follow. For those wondering who's talking, I'm CyberAnimal9. My very exuberant, can't control his laughter, my co-commentator tonight, XR Tech. And we got moles in the Quickman stage, along with shotmen. Always likes to see moles, hoping that they drop me a large energy pellet. So Dagit's on the final screen of Flashman, and almost gets sniped off the top row there.
Those purple shrimp against that dark purple background is that's rough. It could be hard to see those spawn and hard to see those move.
Yeah, so we just made it through Joker Man stage. I mean Flashman stage. And we have a Quick Man who's lime green. And the fun. Oh boy, this is gonna be a long fight. I can tell you this right now. This is gonna be a long fight. Daggett may have to eat that. Nope.
Oh man.
He's gonna eat a boomerang in the face. I was gonna say, you should probably eat that E-tank.
And here it's Airman, and
yeah, he's very susceptible to the Buster, but he's doing one shot of air and then jump. And down goes Airman for square one, taking a slight lead here. Square one goes on to Flashman stage next.
so he'll be in for a little surprise at the end there.
But yeah, that Flashman room, they took the ceiling off because essentially both Quickman and Crashman tend to like to jump. And when they jump up, they will tend to wrap around the screen and you'll see them at the bottom. And you gotta wait for them to come back.
Daggett is rewarded with item 2 at the end of that very tedious fight.
Meanwhile, Square One got a quick boomerang that has a downward wraparound type move. Might have to rename Crashman on that stage, as essentially he will then be called Spaceman because he must go. His planet needs him. Alright, so Daggett making his way through the moles.
This has not been a friendly seed so far.
No, and Square One got a damage boost from the Met there, getting him up to the upper platform. He's gonna take
Let's see
on
how Square One fares with Trollman. I mean,
and the boomerang's not much of an option either. Not exactly a friendly quick man for us tonight. And Square One opting to eat the E-tank there.
I've never seen him use that pattern of boomerangs before.
I honestly can say I have, but you know, it's better than being bodied by. Meanwhile, Daggett taking down Airman as well. So both our runners having killed 2 robot masters. Let's see where they go. and Square One also getting his item 2. They both choosing Bubble Man.
Can we get some syncs in chat, please? Because once again, we are neck and neck after 2 fights. So no, Plagued One, you are not doing it right. I said sync. Sync, S-I-N-K.
Dagit taking a moment there to let the Batantons wake up so he can do this pause buff. See if he gets it.
And so both of them.
And he did. And Square One also getting the bubble zip. As they get through this bloody bubble stage.
Bloody bubbles. Next on lists of rejected bathroom product names.
It wasn't so much rejected as in the sales were low.
Bit of a slow crash.
Slow
Swim
crash.
around Bubble Man stage and
Slow crash, but those lemons did the jerk. And Square One finding quick boomerang, taking down Crashman as well. 3 robot masters apiece. Dagit going to Woodman. And we got the crane spikes hiding up in the tree.
Yikes. They're invisible chandeliers.
The Crushers putting on their camouflage and hiding out in Woodman stage.
Flyboys all over the place. This is... game's turned violent.
Meanwhile, Square One opting to go to Metal Man stage.
Some nice dodging around Sniper Joe in between those Metroids. And instead of lingering around for more of them to spawn, he just damage boosts his way through, which is probably the smart thing to do.
Yeah, I don't blame him. And we have monkeys and Woodman stage. Is this randomized?
Now, they must go because their planet needs them.
Definitely. Also, there we go. We got our one is this randomized out of our system.
Oh no! We item 2'd right into a Mecha Joe.
That Joe tackled him in the air. And a fat fan said, "Oh, you're gonna fly across this stage? I don't think so. You must enjoy the beautiful foliage in this stage."
Not this siege, you're not.
Not tonight, brother. Alright, we got ourselves
the Watermelon Bubble Man.
Not so much a Laggle Man, because he's on speed.
Wow. He was
zipping along there, but Dagit takes care of him rather quickly. And Dagit's going to be going into Metal Man stage. Still looking for the other items. We haven't found them yet.
Alright, Square One's about to find out who's behind the boss door here.
And
what's
Mega
been
Man.
punishing stage.
And we got ourselves Heat Man. Ooh, and the Buster does not look like a good option. But we find Air Shooter. And he gets tackled.
And another death.
So right now, as it stands, both runners still looking for items, as we only found 2.
Fortunately, Square's able to navigate around Heatman a little more easily this time, and picking up Proto Fire.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how.
Item 3.
There's item 3. And I'm not sure how I feel having Mega Man 2 music in my Mega Man 2 randomizer right now.
See if Dagit's gonna run into the. No, Dagit's able to jump over that Mecha Joe.
He certainly juked him.
So he avoids the same fate, and now Square One is reliving the Woodman misery.
Woodman wasn't too bad. Those camouflaged chain spikes were kind of a nuisance. But not. Looks like Dagit's gonna option to. Yep, he switched over. He's finding air now.
And found it first try, so.
Alright, so that is Dagit's 5th Robot Master, I believe. So he's got
Air,
Crash.
Heat, or Crash.
Yep.
Air it is!
Yeah, generally runners like to do Crash and Heat last. But with the items he has, I won't be surprised if he opts to do Heat next as opposed to Crash.
Black Skies and Fat
We have
Fans.
Fat Fans in Airman stage. Good luck, Dagit.
No, I'm digging this music.
I don't know this track. Creed's not in chat, so you're gonna have to get.
Oh, that was some beautiful pause buffering by Dagit.
All right, so we've gotten past the dangerous part of the first half of Airman stage here.
Square One also finding that Fat Fan Woodman stage that's just not gonna let him item 2 across, as Dagit found out earlier as well.
And Squidman letting us know is from the Mega Man 2 Game Boy. Ooh, finding us some Joes in the sky. And that air tend to blow the Joe out of his mech.
And so we'll see. Square One's going to be right on the heels of Dagit, also going into Airman stage.
Let's see how he handles the first section, because that's a really tricky section. Yeah, he got a little jerked around there by the speed, because the fat fan slowed him down, and then when he got his speed back, he walked right off the item too.
Woodman a little more forgiving this time around in this seed.
Yeah, that Woodman didn't like got destroyed by combustible lemons, so that's what you do when you got. And we got Metroids and Heatman stage along with Shotman. Ooh,
So
and they're
Squidman and Fox Nightscape helping us out, letting us know that this is from the Mega Man 2 Game Boy, is the Metal Man music.
These Metroids in Heatman stage are not exactly a welcome sight. And I know that from experience.
So unfortunately Square taken game over.
Yeah, that Airman section with the fat fans is not very forgiving.
Fortunately, I think each time Square gets knocked back, that fat fan respawns.
That's exactly what happens. And this is... Gets rid of this fat fan, he's pretty much in the home stretch. Just gotta be careful, though, in this next section. I don't think there's a fat fan across this spot, but still be careful. There we go. Alright, but yeah, that section in the Airman stage, very, very treacherous. And we got Flashman and Heatman's room. And he's coming for you, Daggett. Slowly but surely, he's coming for you.
He's gonna hobble his way over there. Robot needs a little WD-40.
More like needs Oil Man instead of Flashman.
And here we find item 1.
Yep. So, Crashman being our last stage. Here we go. And if I'm not mistaken, Metal Man will actually be our last Robot Master.
And it looks like we do have a moving item 1, so Daggett's able to work on this crash zip.
Yep. Fun fact, had he gone up into the next section, there were going to be Chinky Makers there waiting for him. And the reason we know this is because generally, the enemies you see on the first screen of Crash Stage tend to be the same enemies up there.
So that's a hard-earned victory over Airman for Square One.
And Square One opting to go to Crashman instead of Heatman, where item 1 was.
A little bit of good fortune with those, look like conch shells.
I don't have a name for them. We can look it up on the wiki, but I'm not doing it right now. But anyways, as you're going to see on Square One's screen, the first screen was Chinky Makers, and here we go, elevator section, Chinky Makers.
They're actually called Tanishi.
The floating eye enemies.
Yes, the ones that look like little conch shells on wheels.
And there's our Buster Susceptible Middleman and Bye Middleman. So, on to the loyalty section for Daggett. Time to play the game again. Guess the dragon color. And extra credit, the weakness.
Oh, and so the letters for the weapons are randomized as well, so they go by position. So you'll have our runners have to remember what, and a lot of them will by memory, what position each of the weapons is, but the letters do not correspond anymore as they would in the vanilla version.
So, what color dragon and weakness do you think we got tonight?
I'm going to say a bright orange, like a hunter orange, and robin's egg blue that is weak to charged heat.
I want you to know I hate you right now because that's the color I was kind of going to go with. But it was going to be more like a Jetfire orange. Now I gotta think of another weapon. Another color. Alright, we're going to have a banana yellow dragon and crash weakness.
Banana dragon. Alright, Square Man making his way to his second to last, I believe. Robot Master, if I've been tracking this correctly, I'll find out as soon as he finishes this fight.
No, he's got one more. He's got to go through heat stage.
Still got heat? Okay.
Square One trying
it's about dragon time.
Square One trying to hold on to that heat, but it's not really what you want to do. Green, green, pink belly.
And it is hideous.
That is one sickly dragon.
Fortunately, Dagit's got a...
It's not the crash. If we don't see the damage come off, and we got Metal Blade.
Oh, it's Metal Blade.
And there's Square One going through Heatman stage rather skillfully. Wow. Metroid's not a problem for Square One. Alright, Wily 2 we go, and more Fat Fan.
Everyone's favorite.
But hey, at least they're here, and not somewhere more treacherous right now. Like Airman stage. Oh, wait. Alright, Dagget's gonna do some wall digging here when he gets down into the next section. This time around, we don't know what the wall weakness is. Last seed, we found out early because Square One used air shooter on the walls. Let's see what's going to be this time. Metal Blades.
Looks like Square's farming for some energy to try that, get that heat zip. Lines it up, and right across he goes.
Meanwhile, Daggett did find the wall weaknesses. That's going to be Metal Blade. So that'll be interesting later to find out what the blue beam weakness is, because the wall weakness and the blue beams will never have the same weakness. Alright, Pico Pico, let's see, not Buster. Oh, we're using air. Ooh. That was a bit awkward.
Looks like, I mean, not a strong weakness for air, but a weakness nonetheless.
As far as I'm concerned, it's strong enough. It just seemed like the iframes for the air shooter just went straight through it, because like two of them were like glued together.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Alright, meanwhile, Square One entering his Wily 1, Daggett in Wily 3. And we got some Mountain Dew sewers.
You say Mountain Dew, I say toxic waste. Well, we're both correct.
Daggett having to take it slow there just in case there was a fat fan. But he makes it through just fine. So I don't know if you ever have noticed this yet, but those enemies on that first area of Wily 3 will always be black and gray and white Game Boy colors. It'll always be that set of colors. So let's see what is the guts. Ooh, it's a watermelon.
Yeah, it's Buster. Probably the first fortunate weakness our players have had all seed long.
And I just turned. I was looking at Square One screen because he missed his item 1 jump for the ladder there initially, just to look at that watermelon guts tank. I don't know. That's probably like an olive green on that dragon. Square One finding air chute for the dragon. So the dragon and Pico both have an air shooter weakness.
Oh no. Shrimp in the anxiety rooms.
Shrimp aren't too bad. I'll tell you what's really bad. Chanking makers and rabbits. And through the anxiety rooms, Daggett is.
There we go. Looks like Square One's going to take some time here to investigate weakness and finding it on a second try.
Alright, so Daggett, already knowing the one weakness being Metal Blade's gonna cut through these rather quickly. Alright, now we gotta hunt for an actual... And it's Buster.
Of course.
I swear, all night long the boo beams have been susceptible to the Buster and my seeds, and now here.
I mean, that's how it works.
I mean, that's how Kami wants it to work. Alright, Wily refights we go.
Square One threading needle down to Pico Pico.
Also going to be doing some weakness checking, finding that air shooter rather quickly. Just got to be careful here, next hit will kill him. Because these Pico blocks are not forgiving. They hit like a truck. Because in this game, if you're gonna eat tanks, This is one of those stages, along with the Wily Machine.
A very slow underwater crash, man.
Dagit halfway through his Wily refights. Square one making it to the Wily 3.
I guess you can say with Heat Man's air weakness, Daggett wasn't fanning those flames.
He huffed and he puffed and he blew them down.
We both have to sign off now. It's been a good night. Bye.
Nope, I refuse.
Last refight for Daggett here.
And it's Bubble Man on steroid. Or E-Tank's gonna eat one. Sure, why not?
Extremely hard to see Bubble Man against that backdrop, too.
Yeah, camo Bubble Man. Alright, Wily Machine we go, and let's see what we got. It's not the shooter.
I hope it's not Bubble.
I hope it is. Oh, it is.
Oh my goodness. Daggett hoping it's something else
like,
too.
Nope,
oh yes, and finds it with metal, much to his relief, I'm sure.
And phase 2 is also metal susceptible. Now, granted, phase 2 of the Wily Machine, what works on the first phase does not necessarily mean it's going to work on the second phase. Alright, on to Victory Road we go to fight the alien.
We've had a lot of monochrome stages tonight. And we're sticking with it.
Alright.
Oh, here we are.
Let's see what our alien looks like now, and it's full on green.
Woo!
Looking like a Green Lantern.
He ugly.
Well, that's not fair. There's 3,100 members of the Green Lantern Corps. Of course, they're all going to be. That's not an exact number. I forget how many members of the Green Lantern Corps there are, but hey, it's close enough. And it's heat. It's
by a process of elimination.
Pretty decent. Did a lot of damage, and down it goes. Get those GGs in the chat, folks. Daggett finishing with a time of 33:37.
That is a fantastic pace. And with that color, I don't know if that's a new PB for him. Don't quote me. That's a fantastic time.
Let's see if we can get Daggett in here for post-race interview.
Howdy.
And speak of the devil. How's it going, Daggett?
Hey, Daggett.
So just to clarify on whether that was a PB or not, when I do randomizers, I like to race against my average time, and so sometimes it looks like I'm getting a PB, but it's just better than average.
I'm just going to go by what SRL time was, so as far as I'm concerned, it wasn't. But it's still a good time nonetheless. Sub 35, I'll take it.
Yeah, thank you.
So, what'd you think of those two seeds?
The first seed was brutal. My comment, the race comment, was that Crashman makes you drop inputs. That guy was... Oh, that's the crash of my nightmares. But I thought
it was a very spammable crash, and it was the first boss off the bat, and he was not Buster susceptible.
Yeah, that seed just generally, I found it, at least the stage route I picked, that was a very challenging seed. You know, kudos to anybody who can get through that seed, is what I'm thinking.
Now, Crash wasn't the only one that seemed a bit trolly. Do you want to talk about Woodman?
Do I remember Woodman?
Well, you may not remember, but Square One can confirm. These shields in that first seed were stationary.
Oh,
and
right.
From our perspective, it looked like one of them had a boomerang effect.
Yeah, he could fire multiple leaf shields, which is unusual. You don't normally get that with Woodman, and that actually made him very difficult. I remember now. Yeah, that was a fight where you basically just wanna you wanna hope you have enough health that you can just stay in iframes.
Fortunately, that Woodman was actually Buster susceptible, so you just had to tank him down.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that seed was quite challenging. There was also fans or something in awkward places. I remember either heat or air was also very challenging.
There was actually there were fans in air. The first one was actually a surprise because the first few enemies, one was the little spring, and then a Joe, and then a fat fan just showed up out of nowhere.
Yep. Yeah, I have kind of a superstition about the sky and Airman stage. If it's blue, it's usually going to be fine, but if it's like red or orange or something, you might be in trouble.
Oh, the second seed, I believe the sky was blue, and you had fat fans regardless.
Yeah, it's it's a superstition. It's not 100%.
But fortunately, the fat fans were only in that first section. And they weren't too trouble.
Right. Yeah, I think one of the things you sort of develop in the randomizer with experience is which gaps when they have Airman or Fat Fiends, which gaps you're going to pause buffer over, and which ones you're going to sit on the other side and try to shoot him.
Yeah.
And
or as I like to think of it, is that you gotta have backup plans to your original plans.
Yeah. Watch. I think actually, watching how Kame approaches things, because he's Buster only, is great to give you new ideas. But also, I did a month or two back, I did some Buster only speedruns of normal, and that actually gave me a lot of help and guidance on how to get through the game. Like, it's kind of interesting doing those doing oddball categories kind of teaches you new things about the game, and then you go back and play the randomizer, and then you go, oh, a light bulb goes off, and then you play the randomizer, and you're like, well, sometimes I have to do this weird thing, and then you try a new category, and you're like, oh, I do that here. Like, it all just sort of keeps coming back.
And so it looks like Square One is sticking with the bubbles for the Wily machine.
And he got through it, but as Dagger would say, not recommend. I'm switch to the Metal Blade. Both seeds, that Wily machine, you had to dig for weapons.
Yeah, that was fun. It's kind of nice sometimes when it's Buster only, or you're Buster susceptible, because you can just mash it down. But it's kind of fun in tournaments and races and whatnot when it's something else, because it makes you actually, E-tanks that you collected matter. It just sort of adds a little bit of flair.
I think the one thing it does, it kind of gives you a small bit of hope, because you're hoping that your opponent is also having trouble with the Wily machine and having to dig for weapons.
Yeah.
Looks like for a second Square was going to try and zip across, but couldn't quite get it set up. And unfortunately took some hits from the acid coming down, so a preemptive E-tank before he goes in to fight the alien.
Yeah, the second seed had a very nice item one. I was tempted to zip myself, and I was like, no, just get this done. Just be conservative. I'm not like I can do those zips. I was even practicing them today, but I just don't feel confident with them in a race. If you know what I mean.
Well, I can only assume you've been studying me if that's the case.
Maybe I'll have to. I haven't actually had a chance to watch too many of these unless I was commentating. But I have a backlog now of rounds and matches to watch.
And Square One finally finding the atomic fire for the... And there we go, with an official SRL time of 45 minutes. Oh, I'm sorry. 41 minutes and 6 seconds. That's actually a PB for him by 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, that is a solid PB.
All right, GG, Square One, and some GGs in chat, please, for a hard-fought personal best, especially against this seed.
Yeah, that seed wasn't actually friendly, but it wasn't. I don't think it was too bad. See if we can get Square One in here.
At least the stage order I did, the second seed was a lot more forgiving.
And it looks like he's going to be able to join us.
Yep, he should be joining us here shortly. And he is here. Just gonna drag him up. And welcome in, Square One. GG's.
Thank you.
GG.
So what were your thoughts on those two seeds?
They were fun. I learned a lot. I feel like there's a lot of like situations I'm starting to get a better grasp on and stuff. Lots of places to use flash stopper and stuff that I never thought of.
Yeah, both of those seeds had challenging fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you play this randomizer, you tend to come up with new ideas pretty much every seed, just about. It's like, well, if I do this here, I could probably do this here in a different spot later, and it could work out. So you just develop new strategies every time you play a new seed of this randomizer.
Yep. It's always that first screen of Airman and the first screen of Heatman that I just get hung up on all the enemies.
Yeah, so one thing I was saying before you joined is you kind of have to develop a sense just from playing lots of randomizers of which gaps you want to pause buffer over and which ones you want to try to kill the fat fan from the other side.
Yeah, I just kind of pause buffer over every gap.
Yeah, that can work. If there's not other if there's nothing else like knocking into you in the air, but it can be a little slower in some cases.
Oh yeah,
that's a pretty safe way to do it. Like I would say, when in doubt, try to clear the gap.
Yeah, when in doubt, try and clear the gap. Take your time too. Sometimes rushing into things when you got falling enemies like the birds dropping their eggs, crabs, metroids. Take your time. As much as you want to get done seed as quickly as possible, you gotta take your time a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah, if you see birds in heat or air, face left, let it drop an egg to the left of you, then continue. That's like basically my go-to strategy. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes when there's so many birds and like the big mech Joe guys and stuff, and there's so much lag, it just gets to be overwhelming.
Yeah, the Joe army were enforcing one of the heat stages in those seats.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you think of Crashman on the first seed?
I don't remember. They were all pretty tough on the first seed.
Yeah, he just kept spamming. He was
Oh,
making me
yeah.
crazy to fight because it kept dropping my inputs.
Yeah, I think I actually game overed on him the first time I ran into him and had to come back with a E-tank.
Yeah, he was not an easy fight.
Oh, Square, do you want to talk about Woodman with his stationary leaf shield and his boomerang effect?
Yeah. I just don't know what to do in that situation. Just put my body in his body and mash.
Yeah, if you have the choice, take damage from the leaves instead of body damage from wood, because he'll deal more damage. But yeah,
Yep.
in a situation like that, you kind of want to stay in iframes from the leaves and just buster him down as much as you can.
Yep.
Well, thank you for the match. That was fun.
Thank you.
And thank both of you for playing tonight. And again, congratulations, Square, on your new PB
Thanks.
for the rando.
Yep.
Yeah, 4.5 minute improvement is solid.
Yeah, I'll keep working on this.
I'm trying to think of anything else I want to ask. I think I'm out of questions. If you have things to ask, Tech.
No, you guys have that well covered, but Daggett, always a pleasure. And congratulations again.
Thank you, and likewise.
Alright. And if that's the case, I guess we'll wrap it up here. Folks, give both Daggett and Square One a follow, please. They gave us a very, very good race tonight. And if you enjoy what you've seen here, feel free to join the community. It's a very welcoming community, especially the new runners like myself. If you put the work in, it may seem difficult, but if you put the work in, it's a very fun randomizer to play. Come check us out. It's a very welcoming community. Also, on the schedule, if I can pull it up here, I can tell you what to expect next.
10 p.m. Eastern on SpeedGaming, the same channel. The Casual Tom versus Handsome Jack.
That'll be 10 p.m. tomorrow. Thursday will be Ren Hero and Alicat. That's at 10:30 a.m. So that'd be for EU folks. And 12 hours later, it'll be Casual Tom and Infinite Mystery. So look forward to those races. We still have a bunch of races coming up in the group stages here, so look forward to them. And if I haven't forgotten anything, I think I will. You guys have a good night.
All right, thanks, Siberian. It's been a lot of fun, and thank you, SpeedGaming, for everything. And we look forward to seeing you in the next one.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Thanks. GG's.